It's a victory that no one could have imagined the scale of. Narendra Modi has swept Uttar Pradesh and he's given the BJP a victory the scale of which is unprecedented ever since 1980. With me here is Rishabh Srivastava, who's been crunching all the data for the Times of India, and we look at all the 5 states and see just exactly how the BJP has done it, how it has swept UP, Uttarakhand and made unprecedented gains in Manipur. Of course, it's lost out in Punjab, where the Congress has been the surprise winner, and Goa is still close to call. Rishabh, let's look at the big one, UP. 309, these are the leads. If you can take us through what the BJP has done, and then we'll compare what it did differently.
Right. So BJP was a huge surprise package. They retained almost all of their vote share from their Lok Sabha election win in 2014. No one expected
so
that.
42% plus was 2014.
Right.
They've got 42% plus this time.
They've got almost 42% plus this time as well. And of course, the counting is still going on. Now, there have been 3 main things that have happened. First, Samajwadi Party has been wiped off the map. So this area that you see here, this is the area near Etawah.
Yeah. This area here.
This entire area. This used to be a Samajwadi Party stronghold. And you can see that the entire area of Rohilkhand over here, some parts of central UP over here, they've completely been taken over by the Bharatiya Janata Party. The second thing that happened was that, if you notice this area, so this is the Azamgarh area, another traditional Samajwadi Party stronghold. And of course, we notice that this is the only area where saffron isn't really as prominent. So what has happened is that the BJP has been able to really take over Western UP, Rohilkhand, Bundelkhand, and Central UP.
And this is where I want to bring in the point that you mentioned Western UP. Western UP is this part. But there are 2 trends which are clear here. A, everyone thought the Jats would vote against BJP. That's not happened. They voted for BJP. These were all the areas which are polarized. All those constituencies have gone to BJP. This is also a stronghold of the BSP. Even at its worst point before this in 2012, the BSP was a close second to SP, but it's been wiped out off the map. Compare this to 2012. The decimation of the BSP is the real big story. They've decimated the BSP except for a very core vote of the Jatavs. There's been no extra votes that have gone to BJP. They've all gone to BJP, and also the SP has been down to just 55 seats.
Right, and so again, increasingly we see 3 main things in Western UP. One, so this area was won by the RLD last year. And again, we see that the RLD has again been completely wiped off. Ajit Singh's party has not really won many seats over here. The second thing that we notice, again, this entire area, which used to be won by the BSP for many years running, again, this has been completely taken over by the BJP. So this has been a true saffron wave. And the likes of this have never really been seen before, even in 1989, when the Ram Mandir issue was the biggest issue. So this really is
the highest vote share the BJP has been around 33-34% in 93, and then in 96 when again it was in the same vicinity. This is 42%. This is unprecedented. And to think that in 2014, at the height of the Namo wave, at about 42%, it was a reasonable assumption that all pollsters made that they'll lose something like 8, 9, 10% at least. They haven't done that, and look at the water which has flown down the Ganga since then. There has been the Una violence on Dalits. There has been demonetization. There has been the JNU controversy. There has been the setback in Bihar, and yet in UP, Narendra Modi has managed to keep the vote share up, and the bottom, it's only because of the Prime Minister's charisma and very smart social engineering by Amit Shah that they managed to retain it, because there was no chief minister to face here.
Another interesting thing that has happened is that they've been able to really bring a mixture of both development and Hindutva into UP very strongly. So this is not a win only for Hindutva, this is not a win only for development-based politics, but a mixture of the two. And this is a formula that, if the BJP can really take it to other places in India, might work really well for them.
I would like to make the point that everybody has been looking at caste combinations, and of course the BJP did smart caste calculations. They learned lessons from Bihar. They tweaked their models. They went after, unlike Bihar when they went after OBCs and Yadav OBCs, here they went after non-Yadav OBCs and non-Yadav Dalits. They did that very smartly. But this scale of this victory, I think it changes the way we understand politics and how we study politics, because the usual rules do not apply in a wave like this. And what they've done is, it's in a sense they have transcended caste. If not religion, they certainly transcended caste. And I think this message of aspiration, this message of upward mobility, it's caste, it's a mixture of communalism, it's also class.
Right.
In the sense that demonetization, I think everyone thought will work to the detriment of BJP. Actually, by telling the poor guy that look, the guy on top of you is getting sorted out, that narrative, I think, that class narrative is what also helped the BJP.
Right. Now, I'd just like to make one very interesting point. In wave elections, we usually see a very high turnout.
Yeah.
This did not happen this time round.
Mm-hmm.
So the turnout in the 2012 elections was about 57%. On the whole, and it was in the vicinity of 60% this year, so not a huge increase.
Right.
What we do see, however, is that given this entire wave of saffron, perhaps different groups had a different turnout. So it might be entirely possible that the BJP was able to both mobilize its core support and really reach out to people who have been disaffected by the lack of development, especially in areas of Bundelkhand, which again is 100% BJP.
Yeah.
And in areas of central UP as well.
This is astonishing. I mean, this whole area, central UP and Awadh over there, that this was what SP had swept in 2012.
Right.
The BJP has just completely it's reversed the table.
Right.
There are comments coming in. Manjula says hard work gives fruit. Amit says now UP will benefit. And Gaurav says losers always blame others. I guess I don't know what he's referring to, but I assume he's referring to Mayawati, who's made this astounding statement today that the whole poll was rigged.
Right.
And she's asked for a recount everywhere.
Right. And of course, there was no basis, there's really no evidence for that statement.
Yeah.
But then again, and if you really see, this entire area, so this is historically, it has only fluctuated between the BSP and Samajwadi Party.
I want to bring in a question here, Rishabh. Abdul Rahman asks an important question. I think it's a question we must answer. Do you know today's election results of UP in which many areas with 70 to 80% population of Muslims are present? All those places won by BJP with a Hindu candidate. How can it be possible? Muslims voting for BJP is something fishy. Now this is a question I think we must address.
Right.
And Rishabh, I'll ask you to weigh in, but my sense is that the Muslim areas, you plotted them on a map earlier, which stretch from here, largely western UP and parts of eastern UP. It is a fallacy that I think that people always think that in Muslim areas only BJP doesn't win. Actually, BJP has won in the past as well because of counter mobilization.
Right. Now, so just like to correct that comment, there are no constituencies in UP with 70 to 80% Muslims.
Correct.
What we generally see is that, especially around here in the Rampur area, we have around 40 to 50% Muslim vote. And again, we see that Samajwadi Party has managed to win many of these seats over here with a very high concentration of
so it went to the Samajwadi Party in this belt, the Muslim vote.
Just over here. But you see that the areas around here, so parts of Bareilly, which lie over here, for instance, there was a lot of counter-polarization over here. And again, these areas, again, which have a very high proportion of Muslims, around 30 to 35%.
Yeah.
So we can assume that there was a very high degree of counter-polarization over here. And that's what I meant by it's been a mixture of both development politics and Hindutva politics.
Yeah, and to give a very specific answer to Abdul Rahman, the point I was making earlier, that it's that even in the past, when there's been no saffron wave, the BJP has been winning a handful of seats in Muslim-dominated areas. For example, Kairana. Kairana is a seat which BJP is winning last 4-5 times. It's one of the firewall seats for BJP.
Right.
Because of and that is because every other party would put up a Muslim candidate, BJP would put up a Hindu candidate, and it's because of counter mobilization it would win. Because you have to remember that it's not just Muslims who vote in the election. There is the Muslim vote, if it gets split, the Hindu vote gets consolidated.
And in fact, again, to add on to that point, if you look at Kairana, it is one of the few seats that have gone from the BJP to Samajwadi Party this year.
And that's because the sitting MP of the BJP, his daughter Mriganka Singh was put up, and his nephew, I think, he stood as a rebel candidate from the SP.
Right. No, and the other interesting part was, so last year, for instance, there was only one Hindu candidate, who was Mr. Hukum Singh, and there were 4 Muslim candidates. This year, BSP had a Hindu candidate in Kairana,
right?
And Samajwadi Party was the only major party to have a Muslim candidate in the Kairana region.
Yeah.
So again, there's been no evidence really that there's been any sort of rigging in this election.
Yeah. Right. So let's move forward, Rishabh, and let's look at Punjab now, which is the other. This is the one state which confounded what all the pollsters were saying.
Right.
In UP, the pollsters had the direction of change right, but nobody understood the magnitude of the change.
Right.
Certainly, no journalists understood that.
Right.
But in Punjab, everybody was thinking it's a dead heat for Congress and AAP. It's been the exact reverse. The Congress has swept Punjab.
Right. And again, this has been surprising. So there have been really 2 main points at work here. the work of Captain Amrinder Singh as well as the work of Navjot Singh Sidhu.
Yeah.
So if you look at the Amritsar region over here, so this is a region that in the Lok Sabha elections, parts of it really went for Akali Dal and the BJP. But so what we see here really is that if you look at the Malwa region, so the Malwa region is under my under my hand over here. This is southern Punjab, and this this is where the Aam Aadmi Party made its biggest inroads in 2014.
Yeah.
And what we see
in Malwa, yeah.
Right, and what we see here is that while the Aam Aadmi Party has won a significant number of seats in the Malwa region, Congress has really capitalized on the anti-incumbency factor. So over here we have the Firozpur district, and so these are the areas which have been ruled by the Akali Dal. So they're sitting MPs still and Akali Dal member. And Congress has really done well to capitalize on this anti-incumbency factor.
The interesting point, I think it's today's Amrinder Singh's 75th birthday, so a big birthday gift for him as well. I mean, there's been a big debate about whether this is Rahul Gandhi's victory or Amrinder Singh's. In many ways, it is directly Amrinder Singh's victory because he was not officially appointed the chief ministerial candidate, even though the election was fought in his name, until 2 weeks before voting. He threatened to leave the party about a year ago when he was not being given charge. And look at this. Their primary areas of Doaba and of Maja here, which are the border districts, it's a complete blue wave. I think AAP has actually lost out some of the areas where it made gains in 2014. The map that you had made earlier, one Rishabh, when we coded the 2014 gains. In 2014, AAP had won a big swathe right from here up till the center of the map and all of this region. So half of this has been eaten away by Congress here and half of this has been eaten away by Congress again. So AAP has actually lost significant ground since 2014. So the decimation of Kejriwal, who was trying to expand from Delhi to Punjab and to be a sort of to replace the Congress, to be a more aggressive anti-Modi face. This is a real setback in terms of national politics for AAP.
Right, and so I suppose one of the bigger takeaways for AAP in this particular election has been that, again, they need to work on their messaging and they really need to also focus on really going down to the ground in areas that are not completely big cities. So we see them doing very well in Delhi, but AAP still needs to figure out how to move its base beyond the Delhi NCR region. Another interesting thing that did happen though was that if you look at, again, the entire Majha region went to Congress, most of the Doaba region went to Congress as well. But the Malwa region does open up a lot of possibilities for the future because as we move beyond this election, one thing we can say for sure is that the Akalis will regroup. The BJP will re-strategize its strategy for the Punjab region, and we can really think that this particular region below this area is going to look a lot more like it historically has over here. With a healthy mixture of both the Akali.
That's for the future. I mean, that's over the next few years. But as of today, the big story is that the Congress has surprised everyone by sweeping Punjab. It stopped AAP in its tracks, and nationally, this is a very important result both for the Congress and for Kejriwal's aspirations to be the new challenger to Modi in 2019. This effectively knocks him off because in Goa they haven't made inroads, Punjab they haven't. This will affect their chances to make inroads in Gujarat later in the year as well. And it keeps the Congress alive in the contest, even though Rahul Gandhi barely went to Punjab a couple of times. Amrinder Singh, that one of the last remaining regional satraps of the Congress, has pulled off what everyone thought was unthinkable. Moving forward, Uttarakhand. What do you make of Uttarakhand? A clean BJP sweep here again.
And Uttarakhand has again been fascinating. So historically, it is a region where Hindutva has been important in certain parts of the region. But for most of it, especially this entire area in Uttarakhand, the main talking point seems to be development. Uttarakhand is still highly undeveloped, and so beyond Haridwar and Dehradun, which are like the southern part of Uttarakhand. So BJP has been handed a very clear mandate. They have a huge victory over here, and again, there have been no clear trends as such, except that huge swaths of land just are in...
The fact that Harish Rawat has himself lost both his seats, I mean, that's a clear signal of the very strong anti-incumbency that was there in Uttarakhand. And look at this is 2017, this is 2012. Essentially, BJP, which was last time essentially on the east, on the west, the east and the center, it's essentially, it's taken up all the space in the center of Uttarakhand as well by eating into what was erstwhile Congress territory.
Right, and so again, a great example of that is this entire region. So we see a huge swath of blue over here.
Yeah.
But in 2017, this is practically all, apart from these 3 seats, this is practically all saffron of the BJP.
Let's go forward, Rishabh, and look at Goa. Goa is much more closer. What's your sense of how Goa is evolving?
Right. So for Goa, not all seats have come in yet. So for instance, this seat over here, we don't really have...
This is at 5:20 p.m.
This is at 5:20 p.m. Right. And so again, Goa is a place which is, as of now, too close to call. We'll have to see what happens in Goa. Now, Goa is interesting because Goa has a huge Christian population. And so symbolically, it would have been very important for the BJP to get this area. And if the BJP had won in Goa, or perhaps even if they do have a convincing victory in Goa, it would serve as a good template because it's a highly developed state, high Christian population. And as the BJP tries to make inroads in Kerala, this could be perhaps a good start.
But I think one of the issues with Goa is that Goa has one of the better economic indicators compared to other states in the country. So that's been the case, but there has been a slowdown in economic growth. Goa has been stagnating. There's been a lot of issues around corruption, and the BJP has been facing anti-incumbency. And the point you make about corruption and about the issue of communalism and the Christian vote, South Goa is a largely Christian population, if I'm not wrong. And this is where, look, this was all saffron last time. The Congress has made inroads here. I think the other fact that has changed in 2017 is that the BJP's erstwhile partner, the MGP, is this time not fighting, is fighting separately in alliance with Shiv Sena and with the GSM, which is been formed by the former RSS chief in Goa. So that is also taken away some chunk of the hardline Hindutva vote from the BJP in other areas. So that's what makes Goa such a rather interesting battle to watch. And by the way, AAP, which was expected to make some inroads, at least if not much, not so much as in Punjab, AAP seems to have disappeared in Goa.
Right. And again, to add on to your point, we can see that South Goa over here, which as Nalin mentioned is a largely Christian area, this had a number of BJP seats in 2012. But if we move again to 2017, there are hardly any BJP seats over here. And in northern Goa, what we see happening is that, so again, BJP had domination over this entire region over here. And what we see is, even though they still have most of the parties in here under their control, independent or other parties, as well as some parts of them have fallen into the hands of Congress this year. So, again, I must emphasize that we can't really make late predictions for Goa.
We'll have to wait for the final result. And Goa is also a place where seats have vote shares, have votes of 25,000 votes total in one constituency. So even a small shift really matters. We should wait for the final declaration of all the seats by the Election Commission. Manipur. Now this is truly historic. Look at the numbers here first. The Congress neck to neck with the BJP plus NPF 25. This is for a party which had nothing in Manipur earlier.
Right, and so this has been fascinating because it does signal BJP's entry in a big way to the northeast Indian region. They won Assam last year through a mixture of very, very strategic partnerships, as well as a message that had a strong focus on both development as well as stopping illegal immigration from Bangladesh. Because in the northeast, this has been a big talking point amongst the citizens of northeastern India, is that especially in regions like Assam, in regions like Manipur, even in Mizoram, one is the lack of development, and the other is the fact that there has been a steady influx of poor illegal immigrants from Bangladesh. And so right here in Delhi, if you talk to, if you go to restaurants and you talk to people from Manipur who have come to make a living in Delhi, one of the points that they talk about is that when people don't have roads and books, they take up guns in their hands.
I just want to add one point here, is that we have to see the context of the BJP planting its flag in Manipur. It's neck to neck with the Congress. This is for a party which did not exist in the Northeast until last year. Last year they won Assam. They swept Assam fair and square, and then they assumed power in Arunachal Pradesh because of defections. Manipur is now the third state where the BJP is a strong force. It's emerged neck to neck with the Congress, with its allies. It should be able to cross the post. This is a very significant thing. And look at the model they have followed. They had N Biren. This is a state where the Congress has been in power for 15 years. Ibobi Singh was facing massive incumbency, just like Tarun Gogoi was in Assam. In Assam, Himanta Biswa Sharma, who was the number 2 in the government, he defected to the BJP, and he was the mastermind of the BJP surge into Northeast. What did they do in Manipur? They got N Biren Singh, who was also the second in command to Ibobi Singh, who defected to the BJP, and he's led this entire creation of the BJP saffron vote bank in Manipur.
Right.
Also, I think the other important thing about Manipur is that there is a divide between the Imphal Valley, which is largely Vaishnavites, and the Meiteis, who are largely Vaishnavites, and the Naga tribes who are around. But it seems that the BJP, which has also been negotiating at the central level, the framework Naga Peace Accord, it's managed to bring in a message of development, as you were saying, which seems to have given it an opening in Manipur.
Right.
Well, on that note, I think we will, let's quickly just go through the results. Once again, we'll repeat the UP result, which is unprecedented gains in UP for the BJP, 300 plus seats, the highest ever for a single party in UP since 1977. Punjab, historic, the surprise sweep for the Congress. And the AAP has been decimated. Uttarakhand, a sweep for BJP, and Goa remains too close to call. And Manipur, of course, historic planting of the flag by the BJP in Manipur as part of its Northeast surge. On that note, we'll take a break. Thank you so much, Vijay Srivastava, with your analysis, and keep watching the Times of India for live updates.